Good morning, and welcome to AI Unraveled, your daily strategic briefing on the business impact of artificial intelligence. It is Thursday, December 18th, 2025. We are talking about some truly dizzying numbers today. If you thought the valuation wars were over, think again. Reports indicate OpenAI is eyeing a funding round of $100 billion, pushing its valuation to $750 billion, $750 billion. But the bigger surprise might be who is writing the check. Rumors are swirling that Amazon is discussing a $10 billion investment in OpenAI. If true, this could signal a massive shift in the cloud alliances, moving Amazon beyond its bet on Anthropic. On the product side, the wait is over. The ChatGPT App Store is officially here, and Google isn't sitting still. They've just dropped the speed-focused Gemini 3 Flash. We're also tracking major geopolitical moves as China advances its AI Manhattan project, and a significant policy challenge from Senator Bernie Sanders, who is calling for a halt on new data centers. But before we dive into today's strategic briefing, stop marketing to the masses. Start briefing the C-suite. You have seen the power of AI Unraveled. Zero noise, high signal intelligence for the world's most critical AI builders. Now, leverage our proven methodology to own the conversation in your industry. We create tailored proprietary podcasts designed exclusively to brief your executives and your most valuable clients. Stop wasting marketing spend on generic content. Start delivering must-listen strategic intelligence directly to the decision makers. Ready to define your domain? Secure your strategic podcast consultation now at the link in our show notes. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Let's unravel the headlines.
Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you felt like the pace of AI news has just accelerated beyond comprehension lately, you're definitely not alone.
Not at all.
Today, we are strapping in for what feels less like a tech revolution and more like a global high-stakes arms race. We're calling it the AI trillion-dollar race.
It's a great name for it, because it really is pulling together these massive, unprecedented financial moves, geopolitical hardware projects. I mean, it's a velocity check for the whole industry.
It really is, and you shared this excellent stack of sources with us, everything from daily tech briefings to some really deep market finance reports and even academic forecasts.
And what those documents make crystal clear is that the sheer scale of the investment right now, it's just warping all historical precedents.
Exactly. So our mission today is to give you that strategic shortcut. We're going to try and extract the core insights you need to know. Where is the truly massive money flowing and why?
And who's winning the model wars, not just on intelligence, but on speed and price.
Right. And then what do experts predict for 2026, that sort of year of reckoning when the ROI finally gets demanded?
We're unpacking that incredible velocity of AI progress across business, hardware, application, and you really nailed the theme. This deep dive isn't just about better code anymore.
No.
It's about control over the physical means of production.
Which is the perfect place to start. We have to begin on the physical front with the hardware. We're going to talk about a truly massive geopolitical project that some sources are calling China's AI Manhattan project.
Yeah, the push for advanced semiconductor independence.
Exactly.
What's fascinating here is the sheer national effort being poured into this to replicate Western optical precision. The push for independence from the U.S. supply chain is very real, and it's centralized.
It shows they're treating it as an existential issue, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
An existential threat to their future economic dominance.
And they've actually built something, right? This isn't just theoretical. The sources say they have a functioning prototype machine built in secret.
That's what the reports indicate, yeah. The activity is concentrated in Shenzhen, and the whole focus is on mastering extreme ultraviolet lithography, EUV.
That's the key technology for printing the tiniest transistors onto chips, the heart of any AI accelerator.
It is. And the team they've assembled is, well, it's highly specialized. We're talking about former ASML engineers, reportedly working under aliases.
Wow.
Yeah. Basically reverse engineering components from older machines and, piecing them together.
And the mechanism itself is just incredible to me. They're firing high-powered lasers droplets of molten tin
inside a huge prototype machine. And you're right, the sources point out this thing is far heavier and bulkier than the slick ASML systems we see in the West. And Huawei is apparently coordinating the whole effort.
That makes sense.
Yes. So the successful generation of that EUV light is a critical first milestone. But you touched on the key point. Its size and weight. To replicate this, you don't just need the light. You need the entire optical train. EUV systems rely on mirrors polished to near-perfect smoothness. We're talking deviations of just a few atoms.
And it all has to be in a perfect vacuum.
In a vacuum, maintaining nanometer-scale precision. That's why ASML's dominance has been so hard to breach.
Okay, so if they have the light, but the machine is orders of magnitude larger, doesn't that mean they're still years behind it on the efficiency and miniaturization you'd need for mass production?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? It shows they're succeeding at the fundamentals, but they're absolutely struggling with the manufacturing engineering, the optimization, the yield, the footprint.
But the attempt itself is the story.
Exactly. The attempt shows the strategic importance of this. If China can reliably develop its own advanced lithography, even a bulky version, it fundamentally shifts the balance of power for all future AI chip production. It removes the external choke points.
Which sets the stage perfectly for the next battleground. Let's shift from the physical race to the software and service war. And here, the battle is being fought on speed and efficiency.
This is where Google is making an exceptionally aggressive play with Gemini 3 Flash.
Right.
This model is a massive strategic move because it really redefines the frontier of efficiency. It's the speed-optimized version of their flagship model, but the breakthrough is they've kept what they call frontier-level intelligence while just radically dropping the cost.
And the details have huge implications for the everyday user. I mean, Flash is now the default model for both the Gemini app and for Google Search's AI mode.
Which is huge.
But look at the metrics. 3 times the speed of 3 Pro and only a quarter of the price. If you're a developer, that's a game changer.
It's an undercut. It's designed to undercut everyone. And we see this quantified in the benchmarks. On humanity's last exam, which is a key reasoning test.
Right.
Flash scored 33.7%. That's a triple jump from his predecessor's 11%. And critically, it nearly matches the top competitor, which scored 34.5%.
So wait, we're talking about a fractional, maybe 1 or 2% difference in peak intelligence.
Barely.
But an overwhelming, massive difference in speed and cost for almost every single user?
Precisely. This is why Flash, it feels like a bigger deal than the slightly smarter Pro version.
Yeah.
This combination of intelligence and speed just eats away at OpenAI's market share in the real world.
So the lesson here for you, for anyone watching this space, is that in 99% of real-world cases, efficiency and latency beat that last 1% of intelligence.
Google is essentially calling the market's bluff on chasing AGI at any cost.
And that efficiency question is so tightly linked to the money. Let's shift to the financial scale of this race, because the numbers coming out of OpenAI are they make my brain short circuit.
The investment scale is...
Investment scale.
Yeah, it's immense. It shows the market believes in the long-term value, despite the current financial realities.
Right. So OpenAI is reportedly seeking $100 billion in a new funding round.
On $100 billion.
If they get that, it would value the company at roughly $750 billion overall. Just a mind-boggling number.
It is.
But here's the paradox, the sources point out. While they have an annualized revenue run rate of $19 billion,
which is impressive,
but hitting their growth targets requires an enormous cash burn, something like $26 billion for this year and next, just to pay for GPUs and data centers.
And that cash burn figure shows you everything. This isn't a software business yet. It's an infrastructure acquisition business.
Exactly. And to fuel that need, Amazon is apparently negotiating a potential investment of $10 billion or more.
A deal that, according to the information, would still value OpenAI north of $500 billion. But the structure of this deal is the real chess match. It's not just cash.
No, it's highly circular.
It's a brilliant tactical move by Amazon. The investment would almost certainly come with a commitment for OpenAI to use Amazon's own infrastructure, specifically their Trainium AI chips in AWS.
And the sources confirmed they already signed a massive $38 billion AWS contract last month.
They did. Wow. But this new investment strengthens Amazon's position significantly, while also helping OpenAI fuel that massive cash burn.
But why is Amazon doing this? Don't they have their own big bet with Anthropic?
It serves two key purposes. First, it's a necessary hedge against their huge Anthropic investment. You have to invest in the clear number 2 player.
Okay.
And second, maybe more critically, it secures a massive high-profile customer for their Trainium chips, which have They've struggled against NVIDIA's dominance. Amazon is forcing its way onto the leaderboard here.
And OpenAI can do this because of the restructuring that happened after all their internal drama. It freed them from Microsoft exclusivity.
Precisely. They were locked into Azure. Now they're free to shop around to diversify their compute supply chain. And Amazon is stepping right into that opening with cash and chips.
So what this all means for you, the learner, is forget the coding laptop fantasy. The race is about massive cloud infrastructure, proprietary chip deals, and multi-billion-dollar partnerships.
Absolutely. The ability to secure that infrastructure is the single biggest bottleneck in AI progress today. That's the real story behind the $750 billion valuation.
Okay, so let's talk about how all this investment, all this infrastructure translates into actual user experiences. We're seeing a big platform shift, especially with the opening of the ChatGPT App Store.
This is a major structural change. It's an attempt to create a new conversational operating system.
Instead of clicking icons.
Exactly. Instead of clicking icons or navigating some other interface, developers can plug their apps directly into the conversation. You just summon the tools you need contextually. It should feel seamless.
And the technical foundation for that is moving past traditional APIs, isn't it? The sources mention this new standard called MCP.
Right, MCP, which stands for Consolidated Data, Tools, and Memory Sharing. And that consolidated process is the key innovation. Traditional APIs mean the LLM has to pause, make a request, wait for a response. It all takes time.
There's latency.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
MCP allows the LLM to access and manipulate data without that latency, sharing context and memory instantly. It makes the whole interaction feel faster, more integrated.
And that's what allows those partnerships with, say, Adobe or Target to work. You're not leaving the chat. You're calling up image sliders or browsing product grids right there in the conversation.
And this platform evolution isn't just for consumer tasks. It's also accelerating these highly technical, specialized fields, like material science.
Okay, elaborate on that Mad Agent example. How does a general LLM help with something as complex as discovering new inorganic materials?
Well, Mad Agent shows the true utility of AI reasoning when you augment it with context. Discovering new materials for batteries or alloys it's historically a slow, expensive process.
Right.
Mad Agent combines the LLM's reasoning with a generative model for crystal structures. But here's the key part.
Okay.
It integrates external cognitive tools. It has short and long-term memory for experiments. It has access to the periodic table, a huge knowledge base of literature. It uses all of that to direct its exploration, accelerating a process that could take human teams years.
A powerful example of an LLM leveraging specialized tools. And on a related note, for those of you who want to evaluate all these competing models, the sources provided a really good step-by-step approach.
That methodology is crucial for bringing some structure to the chaos.
Totally. It says to set clear testing rules. Pick specific use cases, like logo design. Use the exact same prompt.
And then grade the output on key criteria: consistency, creativity, utility, and quality. That kind of disciplined, structured evaluation is really the only way to navigate this space effectively.
That disciplined approach is exactly what the entire industry seems to be heading toward. Which brings us perfectly to the future, the reckoning. Stanford HAI's predictions for 2026.
Yes, they are shifting the conversation from generalized hype to hard, measurable evaluation. Stanford's faculty basically predicts that 2026 will be defined by one central, uncomfortable question.
Which is?
Was the massive investment worth it?
What are the key takeaways from their forecasts? What's that year going to look like?
First, James Landay predicts we won't see AGI this year, and that more companies will have to admit that AI hasn't really delivered widespread productivity gains outside of, coding and call centers.
So, a reality check.
A big one. Second, the economist Eric Brynjolfsson forecasts a massive rise in AI dashboards. This is the accountability mechanism. These tools will track displacement and productivity at the task level, updated monthly, not years later.
Wow. So real-time economic tracking, no more waiting 5 years for some government report.
Exactly. It forces companies to show the receipt. And in specialized fields, Curtis Langlutz anticipates a ChatGPT moment for healthcare as costs come down. Meanwhile, in law, Julian Nyarko notes that firms are moving past asking, "Can it write a brief?" to assessing risk, focusing on more complex legal work that needs human judgment.
So if we connect this back, 2025 was all about hype and pouring in the money. 2026 is projected to be the year we start demanding concrete, measurable ROI.
Yes, though the experts aren't predicting a full market crash. More like severe disappointment from overpromised demos, exhaustion with demos that don't deliver.
That makes sense.
And we should quickly mention, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders is pursuing plans for a pause on AI data center construction, which reflects that political anxiety around the energy demands we talked about.
Right.
And on the tech side, the pace of invention is still staggering.
Right.
We're seeing high-definition video generation from Alibaba, advanced audio isolation from Meta. The tech is still moving, even as the focus shifts.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive. So we've covered 3 massive themes today. First, that intense geopolitical race for hardware, symbolized by China's secret EUV project.
Second, the unprecedented financial and infrastructure scale of the market battled Google's Flash, OpenAI's staggering valuation, and those crucial Amazon infrastructure deals.
And finally, those critical predictions for the upcoming year of reckoning, where data dashboards will finally demand measurable productivity.
The sources show us so clearly that the race is equally about intelligence, the Gemini Flash benchmarks, and the underlying infrastructure, access, and cost. It's a game of capital expenditure.
It's an industry where every single day brings a new technical standard like MCP, a faster model that redefines the market.
And a massive strategic partnership that shifts billions of dollars.
Absolutely.
And here's a final provocative thought for you to mull over. Given that experts predict 2026 will be defined by hard evaluation and tracking displacement at the task level with monthly dashboards, how quickly will the incredible financial valuations we discussed today, like that estimated $750 billion for OpenAI, be expected to translate into quantifiable monthly productivity gains across global industries?
That is the ultimate question. Is the race truly worth the price? A perfect thought to keep in mind as you see those dashboards emerge. Thanks for sharing your sources for this deep dive.
Anytime.
We'll catch you next time.
That's your strategic briefing for December 18th. The signal for today is capitalization. With OpenAI chasing a $750 billion valuation and Amazon potentially entering the fold, the winner-take-most dynamic is accelerating. The capital requirements to compete at the frontier are becoming so high that they are reshaping the entire tech economy. However, keep an eye on the Stanford report we mentioned. They are calling 2026 a year of reckoning. We have the capital, we have the models, now the industry has to prove the profitability. And for the developers, check out xAI's Grok Voice API and Meta's SAM Audio. The toolkits for building multimodal agents are getting better by the day. Before you go, stop marketing to the masses. Start briefing the C-suite. If you need to cut through the noise for your stakeholders, let's talk. Secure your strategic podcast consultation at the link in the show notes. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Keep building, stay strategic, and I'll see you tomorrow.